Hi Shal, and all you other wonderful weirdos watching. Right, so this video is already super freaking long, so I never thought this would come in handy. Still have the label on it, but yeah, here we go. To do my intro and outro. You can't see it, but I can. In this video, I am vlogging my reaction to reading the Poison Study series by Maria V. Snyder. It's quite one hell of a ride. I'm going to try and wrap this up really, like the spoiler-free thing, really quickly. So this is set in a world where I'm not even sure what the time period is supposed to be like, because I don't know what the technology is supposed to be like. It's very vague. Like, it's also quite 1984-esque because the country of Ixia, where it's set, is divided into military districts. Yes, one of those ones. We have a district story again, and each district is assigned a colour that their uniform is going to be. So they have a set, everybody wears a uniform, so it's very Handmaid's Tale, like where colours and uniforms, you know where people are supposed to be and what their role is based on their uniform. Our protagonist, Yelena, is basically on trial for murder, and she's given an out. Well, an out. She's given the job of food taster, because if she's going to be executed, why not give that option to be the potential death of it's a potential death roll, I guess, since you don't know if you're going to die through poisoning any day now. So, and she's basically trying to navigate and plot and scheme to survive, and it's really good. My egg timer has already finished. That's a 2-minute timer? Okay. I'll just keep an eye on the clock on there then. Yeah, that is our protagonist and the basic plot premise. So the victim that she killed was the son of one of the generals of one of the military districts, and he's not happy about her role as food tester, and so there's plots to kill her, and the person who has trained Yelena to be the food tester was previously testing the food and wants her to, so that he doesn't have to, basically. So that, and she's developing certain friendships around going on, undertaking tasks, trying to survive. Yeah, it's pretty interesting world building. And so this vlog is basically me reacting to as I read. So I hope you enjoy. I do get shouty. There is sound quality issues when I'm filming in the kitchen, and I do apologise for. So with that, I'll see you in the outro. Just got up to page 167, and I just cannot go one book without muscles rippling. I just can't. I was really enjoying this book, and now it's just, why do muscles have to ripple? No. I'm getting sick of it. Why? No. I mean, what even is that description? They don't even rip. It's, or at least when I think of ripping, I think of paper being ripped, which is what I'm going to do to this book if I read another bloody... I was enjoying this book. I really was. I just get really annoyed. What is it with muscles? No. No muscles. No muscles. If I could just have somebody not have muscles in their book, please. Good God. So I'm blaming Sarah J. Maas for this. This annoyance that I have towards this one thing. Just no. Before I do anything else, the sentence is hilarious, by the way. It's his muscles rippling under his form-fitting camouflage. For starters, form-fitting, you know, she's wanting this to be a romantic relationship. And camouflage, you shouldn't be seeing him right now. Come on, you shouldn't know his muscles are rippling. Come on. You know what camouflage does. You can't be seeing this. It's just... I just find the sentence funny, but also annoying at the same time. It is a very weird paradox, but there it is, glaring me in the face. For frick's sake. Literally, 1 page later. Thick sculpted muscles bulge through his camouflage uniform. My goodness. What is this? What is these few pages? What is this few pages? I can't escape it. What is this, the muscles section? Is this the muscles section? It's like flippin' heck. What? Why? Ah! So I'm 213 pages in, and there's just something off about some of the fight scenes and violence. Like this, I don't know, this scene where she's running laps around the courtyard and one of the guys that don't like her kind of just knocks her over, and the description is, well, exact. His boot slamming into my solar plexus, knocking the wind out of me. Great. That is exactly what happens when you get hit with the solar plexus. However, the description just before that, I fell forward, crashing into the ground, which means her solar plexus is in the ground direction. Like, there's no her turning over because he's also running. So, and since he knocked her over, there's no time to wait for her to turn over. It's kind of confusing. How can he stamp on her solar plexus if her solar plexus is facing the ground? It's, yeah, if she's like face down, he can't reach the solar plexus. Nitpicking, I know, but it says that, yeah, Maria has a brown belt in karate when writing this, so I'm a little expecting good things from some of the violence, and there's just like a few things that are just slightly off, like back when we have the first fight scene against 2 guards, and the one guy who apparently is turning into being the love is basically put his hand on the ground and then windmilled his legs, kicking the 2 over. That is very impractical. As somebody who has done karate before, even back when I did karate, I would not have seen that as a legitimate practical attack. It doesn't seem right, and I'm kind of anxious about the fight scenes. I was actually really looking forward to the fight scenes because she has fight experience when writing, so I'm hoping for it to get better, at least. Like she does sound like she knows her stuff, but there's like something lacking in some of these descriptions. And I even put a few things, I've started annotating this, like the weighted training has been mentioned, and I'm just like, why is he mentioning that her punches are slow when she's only just started training? It's expected. It's expected. He should know it's expected. He's a freaking trained person. I mean, we had a description of a woman commander who, a woman who is like a woman soldier who is helping other women in the thing, and I'm just like, good. We need more women helping women in male-dominated spaces. And then a sentence later, it's just like, oh, she refuses to train men, and I'm just like, why? Collective, please. Also, just after this, I was just like, oh no. Why is she describing his blue eyes as dangerous? It's like we have a nice little training scene and then now she's gazing into his eyes. No. Also, why is having multiple hobbies a contradiction? You can have multiple hobbies just because the hobbies are weird. One of my martial art instructors did say that even the Vikings braided each other's hairs and wrote poetry. It's not insane to have a nice little creative hobby that is different to the violent hobby or the violent occupation. It's totally fine and normal. What? I don't know. Maybe back in the early noughties it wasn't well known, but that is possible. But yeah, she's misspelt Bowstaff. I mean, I know it's a fantasy realm and things can be spelt differently, but it kind of irks me that it is spelt B-O-W instead of B-O, it's fine. It's a Gandalf-sized staff, as opposed to the Joe staff, which is smaller. But I was enjoying this book, and now I'm just like bogged down in the technicalities of fighting that I'm just nervous now. I'm very nervous. But only time will tell. It is a very fast-paced book. I mean, but we've had a fire festival, we've had kidnappings, we've had a little challenge for our main protagonist to go out and not get caught. It is just one thing after another, action. But it is like there are breathing moments as well, and it does feel like that this is quite packed, and even the characters themselves are quite full of depth as well. But it's just now I'm kind of gritting my teeth because there's a romance being hinted at and I don't like it. Not because, I mean, I would be okay with a romance, but it's got to be done right. And this guy, no, not what he did in chapter 2. No. And he's literally now treating her like a lab rat, or wants to treat her like a lab rat. No, I don't want it. I hope they do not end up together. That it is not a good. It's not, no. Hell, the cook is a better match. At least he's nice, but at the same time, I feel like he might be a red herring for, I don't know, maybe somebody like a spy or something. I was enjoying the first half of this, and now I'm just gritting my teeth, and it is driving me crazy. I'm very scared. I'm very scared right now. This could be really good, but it could also fall flat on its ass, and I hope it doesn't fall flat on its ass. Okay, so you know how I really don't like it when muscles get described? I think I get it now. How do I say this? But so she's been running laps for a week, our protagonist has, and she's now talking to Marin. And I'm just picturing this woman with wide, muscular shoulders. I think I don't like muscles being described on men, but I will gladly gay this up. Yeah, I will gladly. What? Yeah. Muscular women. What can I say? I have a weak spot for muscular women. What can I say? I think when men are being described over muscular by a woman author, I get a little cringe. But when it comes to finally coming across a muscular woman, I'm just like, oh, now I get it. I get it. I'm gonna try not to complain about muscular men in books now, because I really like this muscular woman thing. Please don't judge me for that, okay? So, I mean, I might be bi, but I think I've had an overexposure for men's muscles being described, and now we've finally got a woman. I'm just like basking in it. I'm basking, okay? Leave me alone. Okay, so I just updated my story graph page count. It says I'm up to 76%, so I am like 3 quarters of the way through. I'm up to chapter 26 now. I kind of gritted my teeth for one of the chapters because there was this meeting and we find out there is a trans character, and as you can tell, I may have skin in the game here, and I'm very scared of how this is going to get portrayed. I even wrote down, where is it? Because it's just, I think this is also going to be a detriment of how it's going to be described because of when it was published. Because a lot can happen in a few years of understanding, and this was in the noughties, so yeah, at least we have like a character, and it's actually good because it's a trans man and not a trans woman, because I think that isn't very current, unrepresented, or somewhat forgotten about part of the trans community, is that there are trans men. But it's also, this book is written in the first person, so whatever issues I have, it's also from our protagonist. Like, she got a glimpse into this person's private quarters, and she was expecting something feminine, and I was just like, don't. Oh God. We have a representation, and at least Yelena still uses the him pronoun when referring to this person. So at least there is that. I'm not too sure about the rest of it. I'm not so well versed in trans characters in literature yet, but so far we have probably an unexpected appearance, and then we have the annoying thing that the romance is kind of... I've started coming to the terms that our protagonist, Yelena, I think it's Yelena, she's in a very dire situation, so I get that she would want connection, and she would probably try and fantasize about connections in random people or the person she's like close to quite a bit or around quite a bit. So I can understand that, but he's feeling the same way, and it's hinted at strongly, and I mean, I'm not too sure I like this as a pairing because of the power dynamic. It's a wrong power dynamic because of what happens in chapter 2. He has a lot of power over her. Like, seriously, I don't like it. It's a very terrible situation, and I'm not here for it. And again, the naughty's not well versed in power dynamics, I guess. And now that we know better these days, I am gritting my teeth very strongly to the point where I feel like my teeth hurt. That's how it is going. The fighting style has some good moments and some bad moments, like when a character flips over somebody's head. I'm just like, huh? That's not practical, but the rest of it, okay, enough. And as for the plot intrigue, it's very interesting. Things are developing very, very terribly. Or at least it's... We've had the meeting where all the generals are in one room. The news has been delivered, and everybody's like up in arms except the one person who's confident in it. So I'm expecting him to assassinate the guy in charge. Yeah. Oh, things are going to kick off soon because we've now got the delegation from the south coming up, and yeah, this is getting interesting. I've literally just got to the scene where we find out that the people have taken their masks off, and it's the person who tried to kill Yelena a while ago. So far, gritting my teeth on the romance. I hope it doesn't turn out the way it is hinting at, but you know, the way things get hinted at, it's going to unfold the way it is, and it's going to annoy me like crazy. But I am hopefully optimistic about the rest of this. Right, while my lunch is cooking, I need to rant about this book. I just growled at it because it is dumb and I hate it. So, I'm on page 373. We've just come to the conclusion of Butterfly Dust. Just found out what it is. And I kind of had this horrible maybe hint that maybe it might not be what we think it is. And I was right. I wish I wasn't. It's because it's backpedaling on this guy who's supposed to be the romantic interest, or hinted at to be the romantic interest. I hope they don't. I really hope it doesn't happen, because this is infurious. It is infuriating me, because the gift he gave her is a butterfly pendant, and it's supposed to be really nice and kind, and it's a butterfly. The poison is called butterfly dust. The control he has on her to keep her where he wants her to be is a No. Just no. This is infuriating. What is this romance? I hope it is not a romance. If it turns into a romance, I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be so pissed. I'm trying to cook my lunch and I cannot even focus. I'm going to be so pissed off. I was supposed to like this book. I like freaking fantasy, but why is it always romance that throws it? It's never done right. If this is a romance, I am going to throw this book through a window of a high building into the sea. It's just combined with the power dynamic. It's such a power imbalance because he's controlling where she is by making her think that she is poisoned and needs antidotes every single morning. And the nice gesture that she loves is the butterfly the pendant he made her. I'm going to put this book down for the rest until like later because I just can't. My battery's about to die, so I better turn it off. And I was trying to keep this short and sweet, but I'm kind of hoping this is not going to turn out how I think it's going to turn out. It is very hinted at being. I hope, for the sake of the enjoyment of this book, they do not end up together. It is wrong. Just no. I have big issues here. And hopefully I can stop being angry. Okay, so battery's gonna die, but I don't have a voice because, well, my voice has kind of returned somewhat. I've not had a voice. It's just a bit creaky at the minute. I've not been reading for the past few days, but I did finish Poison Study, and I enjoyed it. The thing I didn't want happen, I'm pretty sure I was shouting about it in my last clip, that happened, annoyingly. And I could have sworn that when it got to it, I didn't know what I was reading. And when I did, I kind of held the book like that, going, God, why? I found looking back on what my reaction to it, it's hilarious. But the only thing, I remember writing my annotation going, they definitely got an STD in that dungeon. Who thinks that's a good place to decide to fork is not the best. I mean, I had this lovely little headcanon about Ari or Janko because they're so great, they're so cute with Yelena, and Ari was able to like keep an eye on Yelena when at the feast and noticed that she passed out and carried her to her rooms and never ever mentioned to Janko what she was screaming in her nightmares when she was passed out. And I just thought that is such a lovely quality. And what Janko inscribed on her switchblade, lovely. But I cannot believe that they are considered brotherly. No, that my lovely little headcanon there was that I have reasons why you can't date just one. It should be Ari and Janko are both dating her because I could always see them either fighting over her or they were like egging each other on, going, yeah, just really encouraging it. I could never. But then I realised poly relationships, we need more poly relationship examples, and I'm just thinking that would have been brilliant. I just don't like how they're being described as brotherly. They're just perfect as like it was so brilliantly set up to be a good poly relationship, and unfortunately I don't like Valak. He's a dick. He's a deckhead. Just no. But when it comes to the end of the book, it was very satisfying. It came to one of those like, oh come on, she just saved your life and you still, come on dude, type of situations. I was worried about the trans representation in there, and quite honestly, even though I have skin in the game, I don't feel like I'm qualified or well versed in talking about it, because you can be knowledgeable of it, but you can't be good at talking about it. It's very possible, and because of my dyslexia, I don't think I'm very good at talking about it very well. I'm getting groggy. There's me thinking I can do that in one take before my battery died. I believe there was good intentions. It was handled as well as it could have been, considering this was written in the noughties. And I think there was a little bit to do with the wording, because there was like a final fight. I think one of my annotations. So there's basically the commander is in a mind prison type thing, and he's being surrounded by men, and Yelena and him are about to start fighting them off because after killing a snow leopard or something like that. But it's just like proof that I was really a man, that I had won the right to be a man. You don't have to prove yourself. You really don't. I mean, one of my other things was, is this a bad trans metaphor? I feel like this is a bad trans metaphor. I mean, it was published in 2005. We know more about being trans now than back then. Nice work, the commander said. You helped me rediscover my true self, killing off my demons. Do you feel like it's kind of like a bad metaphor? I don't know. Killing off a snow leopard was proof that he could earn being a man, and I'm just, you can do that and be just considered a good swordsman. I mean, it is said that he is a master swordsman, and that's all you need. That is all you need. It does not matter if you're a man or a woman, you're strong enough to do what you want to do. And if you are not born assigned to what you feel like your identity is, you do not need to prove yourself. I remember feeling like I had to dress a certain way because I still felt a bit too feminine. But I remember there being like a sense that I've got to prove myself to people that aren't trans, because there's like a particular view of it. But honestly, they laughed not because the idea of a woman in power was so ridiculous. So at least they're not sexist that way. And now this is where I have the issue. His frank and abrupt dealings were so honest and forthright that the thought of him deceiving anyone was laughable. He is not deceiving. This is him. He is himself. It is not a deception. It is not deceit whatsoever. Just because somebody was assigned female at birth does not make it deceitful when... So, yeah, and due to his beliefs and convictions about himself, good keep up the pronouns. Even though I knew the truth. For fuck's sake, what? I could not think of him in any other way. First, the truth is... Why do you have to think it's the truth? Sorry, we're having a bit of an issue with the word truth in anti-trans spaces at the minute, so naturally I'm going to be a bit touchy on when people say truth. The annotation was, being your true self is not a deception. It is... The truth is, he is a man. No quarrels. And so that paragraph nearly had it, but it's the nitpick. Honestly, considering it was from 2005, and you know how the noughties were. Yeah. So we've progressed so much thanks to just time, help it, and communication, and the internet connecting people so that we can get the better language for it. There are issues. But yeah, I kind of, even my annotations are like, what? At some places because of that. So I did enjoy Poison Study. It was very fast paced. The romance, thankfully, wasn't the main focus, nor did it ever influence the plot, kind of, depending on your views of how much Valak is moving things forward, because that he likes her. I am very thankful because there is a scene where Valak rejects Yelena because she's drunk, and there is a moment where she starts taking it badly. Thankfully, that just got dropped. Thankfully. I do not want a miscommunication or a he doesn't like me to start influencing her behaviour. That is like a dead immature thing, and I know she's like pretty young still, but I'm so grateful that was not... I kind of held my breath for when that happened, but they still got together and I'm sick of it. No. Ari and Janko is a much better throuple idea. I will always say they would have been a lot better. But I did start Magic Study, and can I just say, Brother of the Year, complete deckhead. So we are now following Yelena as she's returning to Sitia. Turns out she was taken at the age of 6 and told she was an orphan. I obviously cried. I love a good reunion, what can I say? Teared up, and the whole thing is a big misunderstanding that could be resolved in a conversation with her brother before anything happens, but it's also like things are happening so quickly, like when can they talk? And she's also going through an adjustment period, and he's not being at all empathetic to her situation. He's just very, I mean, he's 2 years older than us, so he's not as mature as he should be, but who is at the age of 20 freaking something. Then we get an ambush situation with one of the royals from that were dethroned and killed by Valak. Like, his entire family were killed by Valak, and everybody in this country hates Valak, and it's just like, well, I better not tell anybody about him. Her learning about her home and her having to go to the wizard tower for her training, and on the way she finds the only alive person of the royal family that Valak killed. Yay. So that's fun. And nothing she says is taken as like the idea, what that quote was, if you go in looking for something, you will find it, because, yeah, if you go in expecting something, your worldview is tainted. So, yeah, you will find exactly the evidence to support that, but never anything disproving it. You'll glance right over it. That's what I'm thinking of this adult, and it's just so bad. And I know Yelena doesn't want to talk about her brutal past, but honestly, she could have told her brother in a fit of anger, just going, do you really think I liked my entire time up there? I was really wanting her to slap him. Sometimes the best response is no response, but even then it's just like, they still need to learn, and they need to learn empathy. My biggest worry now is, so I know there's a trend where the romance, you can tell who the romantic interest is by a description of their eyes and face and their features. So when she started describing this, yeah, he craned his head around, and I studied my face. A wave of heat enveloped me. I suddenly felt too close to him. His eyes sparkled a bluish-green colour, like the water in sunlight. So I'm hoping the guy that ambushed her, the guy who survived Valak's family massacre of the royal family, who also just up on the same page, had to educate Yelena on what beggars were. And she's explaining that everyone in Ixia has a job. Basic necessities are provided to all by the commander's military. And he's just like, how does he pay for it? And before I could answer, Cahill's shoulders dropped. With my uncle's money. He has probably drained the treasury dry. And it's just like, this is the problem with like monarchies and that. They sit on a vast fortune, like dragons sitting on the pots of like hill of gold, and they just like neglect like basic human rights. They could be like redistributing the wealth. They forget just how much damage they can be doing just by having wealth just sit there doing nothing instead of helping the people. As far as Yelena was concerned, better to have the money helping people than covering the floor of some treasury. Like greedy sods. This guy is a greedy sod who believes that his birthright, that because he was born into a family, gives him the right to rule a country. Yeah, this is great. The hint at the bottom of the page just had me very worried. And on top of that, I'm on just about to read chapter 11, and apparently he is now her new instructor, because it got proved that she wasn't a spy. Like the previous 100 pages had him accuse her of being a spy, treating her like crap. And he's also a toddler. Like he even said that because she was training with some of the soldiers, because she got special, like a truce finally sorted out, but it was just like he felt like she embarrassed him in front of her soldiers. He's using a very heavy ancient sword of his family, and has not, like in here in the first like run sequence where they're about to like set off at beginning of their truce, and she's asking the captain, why does he make you run? And it's just like, to keep us battle ready. And it's just like, what about him on the horse? He's not keeping himself battle ready. This is another terrible guy. He's horrible, and now she's picked out a horse and she's gonna need an instructor to learn how to ride a horse. Turns out it's him, and I think he's gonna make her pick out a different horse. I mean, at least she had the common decency to kick him out of her room when he was apologising, going, "No, I don't forgive you. Get out," because he did treat her like crap. She's got a right to be pissed off. I'm hoping that that little description at the bottom of the page, mixed in with now that there's an excuse for them to spend more time together, I'm really hoping she spends this time educating him on how better treating his people, because there was the whole thing with Valak's family about why he did what he did. Revolutions form up is because of unhappy people, and I'm hoping she educates him properly on you can't just rule over with an iron hand and expect all of your people to be in line with everything that happens just because you're royal. I'm excited to explore the magic system. I can't wait to see what her little specialty is. But I'm going to guess and say it's to read people's minds a bit better and to communicate with animals, because apparently that's a thing that nobody can do. Just can we leave the romance out of it? Anyway, I've been rambling on for way too long. I'm just very passionate about this book. Okay, so I'm like just got up to chapter 21. I think it's like halfway. It looks halfway. So page 236, and we've come across Moon Man. So Yelena has figured out part of her power is tied to healing. Yay! But it's also this last little bit just felt so plot convenient. Like, I like Moon Man. He's got a brilliant vibe. I like that. It's just, oh, it's how convenient that she sees some like red stone and it's just like, oh yeah, that might be needed for samples. And so Iris is just like, okay, you two go and get your samples. Me and Kyle are going this way. And so that's how they get. But it's also like Yelena had to catch up really quickly. And it's just like, if you really wanted Yelena to be on this trip, just put her on this trip from the beginning. You do not need her to be like really fatigued by draining her power so much that she has to like draw power from Valak so far away, and all of a sudden she can whisk off. And it's just it just felt so rushed and like plot convenient. I don't know, it just seemed very And now we're getting like the backstory of Leaf, her brother, and it's just like, so Leaf has been lying for so long, and I hope there is a good reason than traumatized 8-year-old. I really hope they, yeah, because he's been lying since 8. Oh wow, just because apparently he saw the whole thing go down when he was 8. Lovely. Not sure how I feel about it, and I hope it's tackled smartly and with empathy for children. And also it's like, why? He's just been so pissed off with Yelena this entire time. It just makes no sense. It's just, why? I just don't get his mood. I mean, he's just been a freaking bag of dicks this entire time. So naturally, I'm at a point where I'm not sure I'm going to like this book. I mean, the plot's starting to get a bit too rushed. I know it's fast paced to begin with, but it's feeling unnecessarily rushed. I mean, they skip over so many like weeks, and don't get me started on the feast. Okay, I've only got 2 seconds before I have to drop everything and go on D&D. But before I was like cooking lunch, we had the message from the bad guy asking for a hostage exchange and wanting our protagonist. And it's just, yeah, so now they're doing that, they'll have 2 weeks to plan it because of the full moon, blah da da. And honestly, I think Leaf is becoming an afterthought because, yeah, there was like a moment where it's basically skimmed past that he asked her about what happened with the Sandseed clan, and she gave an angry remark. And I'm just like, why are you not actually giving us the time explaining what they're saying to each other? This is like he's her brother and there's a conflict and it needs to be resolved. I would rather you freaking flesh this out than skim over it. Like, come on. Oh, I wish it was fleshed out. It's just because I feel like I have this horrible feeling that it's not going to have a satisfying conclusion. And then I'm on page 260 at the very top, like the very last bit of the previous page is just like, I'm now getting, why am I getting suspicious of Zitora? Or Zitor, I don't know how you pronounce his name. Fantasy names and dyslexia don't go very well. But Zitora, which is one of the four magicians, why am I getting suspicious of her? There's just this something to her dialogue right now. Is just like, I feel like she's like aiding the bad guy. I don't know why. And I've also like predicted the bad guy might be Goel because sadist has got a sadist, you know? Anyway, I've got to go to D&D. Oh well, so that's my current thoughts right now. I've literally just got in from work, but well, whilst I was on my break I was reading and I was actually waiting for when Dralik turned up and caused so much drama with Cahill because Cahill's such a dick and I don't like him, and he's being more of a dick because the Ixian delegation has come and yeah, as predicted, he's being stubbornly dickish. Like, seriously, I'm very shocked that he is still like jealous of whoever gave her the butterfly pendant. Yeah, he is being jealous. He wants something more from Yelena than friendship, and it is stupid because there is no freaking chance. So he won't take the no. Yeah, so he's being jealous about a guy who she's currently like separated from, and on top of that, he thinks it's Janko who gave the gift carved by her actual love interest. And again, Janko is being described as brotherly. For a Ling hell, no. Why is it that the better options for love interests are being described as brotherly? Stop it. Anyways, I do not get how Cahill is like not even understanding why she's not wanting anything to do with him in the romantic sense. I'm surprised he got friend out of what happened at the beginning. Like, seriously, if any of that happened to me, I would be stubborn and I would not want to see him again no matter what. I would not even. Yeah, so Yelena is a better person for even attempting a friendship with this guy. Now that Valak's entered the scene, I was hoping like some drama would ensue just to distract from the whole thing. And now that he has, I'm already sick of the drama. Like, it's like predictable, but at the same time, it's, I think whilst I was at work, I actually mulled it over, and it's because I have a trigger response towards men who think they are right and men who think because they believe they are right, they know better and they will not change their actions or apologize for it. And I have a bit of a visceral reaction because of my own trauma with that. So yeah, I'm not enjoying it, even though I was kind of hoping it would be like different from the Cahill thing, and now it's just like, yeah, why aren't Ari and Janko the love interests? Seriously, this is, I hate what is happening. Other than that, the plot is progressing and I like that. So that's that. I'm already sick of drama, and I'm reminded of why I hated Valak in the first one as the love interest. That's basically this. I'm like so close to the end. There's like so much yet to happen, and yet the pacing is just too quick that I'm not sure what's going to be in this last, because things are just getting glossed over. Like, things that should actually have their time taken are being glossed through. Hoping it'll pick up with that, and I hope the men in this are just gonna like learn and grow and have a character arc of coming to terms with the fact that they need to take a step back and listen to Yelena and what she's saying. And yeah, I don't like it. It's kind of a decent book, that's the thing. It's just I don't like so much of what the other stuff so much that it is kind of ruining it in a way. So I'm going to try and not let any of Valak or Cahill, like, I'm just going to gloss over it and not get too bogged down in it, because I don't want it. I don't want it. However, there is something I do need to talk about. So the Ixian delegation is back, and I do not like how the descriptions of the commander are back. It is, again, the naughty's understanding of trans people. So, yeah, I don't like the wording of that at all. It's a little too fast-paced, to be honest. It's too fast-paced. That's my main critique. That isn't the romance. Because I'm trying not to talk about that too much now. I'm getting sick of myself talking about that part too much. But plot-wise, there is a little too much happening when somebody is being held against her will by the main bad guy. I'm pretty sure we need to return to that immediately, and I wish we would. There is literally someone's life on the line right now. The fast-pacedness, like, she got kidnapped and abducted, and then the next thing we knew, Ari and Janko are through the door, and I'm just like, how the hell? This was so... It was just so rushed. It just felt like the author realised that they need to deal with Goel because she can't leave a sadist alone. And I keep writing in my annotations, sadist is gonna sadist, and naturally he's got a frigging kidnap and torture ready. Like, what is it with sadists in this series? They're everywhere. They are just everywhere. And our protagonist keeps finding them. So yeah, I'm very tempted to not continue this series, but I also want to finish it for the sake of... I want to finish it for the sake of this video. I want to be a completionist because I'm that kind of gamer. I'm a completionist. And the same goes with books. I mean, I put up with 8 books for maths, but this was just kind of becoming... I want to put it on the back burner for a bit. I'm hoping in the last 100 pages he gets slapped with a fish, because Cahill is just annoying at this point. Okay, so I finished Magic Study last night. So my thoughts are too fast-paced, needs some breathing room, and less skipping over important relationships, such as the brother. Also, the brother is an ass. I don't care how much you're going to sugarcoat it in. You can't blame an 8-year-old for the decisions he made and the fears of emotions. He does not excuse how he behaved when she came home, and the anger we saw into his head and saw it's for selfish reasons still. No empathy whatsoever, or basic, nobody wants to understand what she's been through. Yeah, I mean, we get it if he's he doesn't want to know because it'll add to the guilt, but come on, guy, give her some empathy. So all this time he's been acting like a complete twat towards her, hating her, and it's just come on. Also, I don't like how Ari has been upgraded from brotherly to fatherly. Stop it! I don't like it. They were being incredibly sweet, but the love interests, they kind of shouldn't be love interests, which is why I'm complaining about the whole thing anyways, because they are so terrible. And it's just, why can't we have the sweet guys who are genuinely sweet? They're not being nice guys, they are genuinely being sweet. Why can't they be the love interests? Why? I mean, we've got the aloof joking guy, and we've got the really protective person in Ari, and it's just both Ari and Janko could have been brilliant love interests, and I know they're called like the power twins, but I'm pretty sure they're not related themselves, and I would have loved it to be like a poly relationship because they get on so well as a three, and it would have been really nice. It would have been really nice. So I don't like Valak's relationship. I really don't. And I think even the dialogue Valak has with Yelena, it's A, corny, B, destiny. I hate that. I hate that. And it's just like it doesn't even sound romantic. There is a line in here that it's supposed to be meant as romantic, but I don't think he realizes it's not as romantic as it sounds. It's not as romantic as he thinks it is. I'm kind of getting a little sick of the fact that women have to be brutally butchered just to say that the bad guy is very, very bad. It's not what you think it is. There are other ways to be bad. And it's just when they say that the 12th victim has to like give herself, but then ends up in the exact same situation as the other victims, tied up and brutally. No, I was half expecting it to be okay. I willingly give you my blood. That's what I took from that. Not violated and cut up, and her blood taken for this ritual, but also lied to. I didn't. I felt like it wasn't fleshed out because I felt like other things were being given more time. Just the convenience that Leaf just randomly turned up to help her, which ended up being a hindrance, which nobody saw coming. Wow. And then once the big bad was finally dealt with, we had a side quest of dealing with the other bad, who was basically the previous book's sister, trying to get revenge. Yeah, that wasn't fleshed out. That was just felt like it got put in there. Yeah, it didn't feel right. I kind of just feel like Maria v. Snyder is trying to come up with ways for our protagonist to suffer. I mean, give Yelena a bit of a break, but it's just like, yeah. And at the very end, there's a bit of a situation where she's got in a bit of a predicament that her road is twisted, a long twisted road fraught with knots, tangles, and traps, just the way I like it. Why does she like it like that? Why is she liking her life right now? Why is she enjoying her life? She has been tortured and brutalized and tricked and all kinds of stuff, but she likes her life. She's not trying to improve her life. She's just like, okay, it just doesn't seem right. And so we also have the antagonist for the next book because, again, Cahill was a bit of a deckhead. And it's just like, not an enjoyable deckhead. He is like really stubbornly set in his mindset that bringing down our protagonist and Valak are like the right thing to do, and he's really convinced himself into it, and it's just like there is no reasoning with this guy. And yeah, even the revelation about what is really going on with his bloodline I don't particularly like him, nor do I like how this was set up. There was no understanding. He is legitimately saying, you cheated because you used magic. He is such a sore loser that she beat him in a sword v boss fight, and he's just like, you use magic, even though she pointed out that the sword is too heavy and he's not properly trained in it. He's not trained. The only thing he's good at is riding a horse. And yet he just cannot understand why he's losing to to a person who is trained. Yeah, because his men have made him like think he's good at it because they've let him think all of these lies for so long, and it's just he's so unlikable. I can't have a fun antagonist, can I? I want a book where the antagonist is fun, or at least threatening. Because right now, Cahill is a petulant child. That is it. And just to top it all off, cherry on top of the cake, the language used for the one trans person is still of its time, unfortunately. Language has improved since then, so I'm curious to see what happens in book 3, but I'm not holding my breath for improvements. I also kind of have an update with the fighting, my nervousness over the fighting things. I think she can know her stuff, but I don't think she's good at communicating it on the page. Like, I think it's a little clunky. It's not smooth, and so the fight scenes feel off. That's book 2 anyways. One more to go. Yay! Okay, it's 10 o'clock at night. I'm not sure about the angle of this or the lighting, but it is 10 o'clock at night and I'm trying to go to bed and I can hear upstairs. And he stops. But I'm on chapter 8. No, I'm on page 87. Chapter 87-ish. Anyways, but I've just figured out why I don't like this story anymore. And it's because the protagonist is different. And I know there's a reason. You change over time and you learn stuff, but this is like in the opposite direction. Like, I kind of was just thinking about how it just feels odd that Yelena is known for being like quick to action, rushes in without thinking about it. I'm just like, I don't remember any time where she's done that in book 1. I mean, maybe, but honestly, book 1 was her was just full of her scheming, thinking, planning. She literally had a diary where she tried to write down the floor plan of the keep, the castle that she was stuck in, and she could easily like say, no, I'm learning the floor plan so that I can quickly get to where I need to be so I can taste the commander's food. She thought things through. And now she's dumb. Like she doesn't think things through anymore. She's not planning. She's not scheming. I just miss that. And I don't know how she's gone backwards. Yikes. I don't like it. I kind of... That's why I remember enjoying book 1 so much. How book 2 and 3 just felt annoying. It's because she's changed and not for the better. And it's just... How? She wasn't known for that. She planned and schemed. Hell, she even planned the challenge that the guards needed to practice trying to find an escapee, and she was like, okay, as long as I get paid. She planned it. She went around trying gathering all of the things she would need, and she did it. She really was good at it. She just... Now it's like every single time she's rushing in head first and then there's something going wrong and she's wondering why. I kind of miss book 1 Yelena. She was practical. Now it's dumb, but honestly what's dumber is that I've just sat through 5 chapters of Previously On, which is basically shorthand for the every time a piece of information pops up in the story, we get a lovely little exposition dump of why it's relevant from the previous books. It's insanely dull and mind-numbing, and I'm just like, I'm sitting through this again. Could have, like, you know, padded it out by actually providing substance and slowing down your story so that you can, you know, flesh these characters out. Like, there was literally a scene where Moon Man had a panic attack because of claustrophobia, and all I'm thinking of is Deep Space Nine did it way better with Garrick. This felt skimmed over. Like, the part in the tunnel where he's actually having a panic attack, he's just, yeah, they gloss over it. She glosses over it, and at the very end of that little section, she does, like, connect with him and try and calm him down, but it's too quick. No, you could have had a character bonding moment even, but no. So I don't appreciate that. I mean, when you see it done better, it's a little frustrating just reading that, because you know it can be like really done well, but I'm getting the impression that this book isn't written very well, and I hope that her skills have improved since this book. I mean, every guy has muscles, and there's barely any stocky characters, annoyingly, and it is frustrating. The antagonist is a petulant child of a man who just cannot, for the life of him, let it go. Okay, so outro. Here we go. This was good. Did not like the romance. This was worse because there was a pacing issue that seemed to have cropped up, and the protagonist was different, like very different. It's like from book 1 to book 2, she's gone from very thinking things out, trying to find ways around her situation, and then she's just rushing into everything without that meticulous planning, and it's obviously a detriment, and it just doesn't feel like the same person in a way. And apparently, so more so that it's become her defining quality in this. I don't like that. I preferred book 1 Yelena. And so the glaring question that there is no footage of me reacting to Fire Study at all isn't because of the fact that this is already a long vlog. It's because I haven't finished. I'm still on page 86, 20%, according to Storygraph. I can't. I just can't. I'm soft DNFing because I don't. I do want to finish to see what happens, but I'm not invested anymore. It's gone downhill so much that the pacing really has ruined like some character moments, some character development. And it would have been really nice to have that, but we don't get it. We don't get it. So I'm soft DNFing for now. If you want to know my final thoughts on the series as a whole, it's going to come in the form of a sentence down the road, because I don't want to force myself to get through it for the sake of the release of this vlog. I do want to release this vlog on the 20th. I just wanted to get this done and dusted because I'm about to get bogged down at work. I just want to move on. I want to move on, read some other stuff, because this is no longer pleasant to read. This is no longer, this is good. This is going to be on the side. It's going to be on the back burner. I'm not going to reach for it first thing, unfortunately. That is the case. I do feel like this series has a letdown because I had such high hopes for it. It did start off pretty decently. I do have issues. There are plenty of issues. That was my thoughts reading the majority of this series. Not great, but not my favourite series. So if you are interested in getting my final thoughts, do let me know. And since my videos now are getting quite a substantial amount of views, I'm going to do the thing. I'm going to start doing the thing. The YouTube thing. It's going to feel weird. Hit the like. Maybe subscribe. Boy, that was weird. But I have an audience now, so it would be nice to know if my videos are liked. So yeah. I mean, one of my videos now has 35 views and it's very weird, so this is a very long video, so I'm just going to sign out. Hope you're having a good time reading whatever you're reading. Until the next time, I am going to try and reduce the amount of clips and time I spend yapping on about books in my next vlog, hopefully. I'm learning. Still learning. Gonna be a while before I perfect it, but getting there. Bye, Shell. And all you other weirdos that are watching. Have a good day. Bye.